Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Stationeers Beta on Mars series that I'm doing right now. And when we left off, I was having mixed to poor luck with getting the solar tracking working with um, a couple of the two axis solar panels. Well, as it turns out, I was a victim of overconfidence and short memory. Um, RocketWorks actually changed the way solar tracking worked, or more accurately, the solar panels, um, from percentages to degrees. And the IC10 code that I was attempting to use was not compliant. I almost came back to doing things the way I did with my mainline Stationeers base, using just logic, which will obviously work. And I'm having vague memories of having to adjust things when they change solar. But I was actually pretty lucky, and I didn't have to change too terribly much back then. But lo and behold, when you try and do it with someone else's IC10 code and you're not particularly good at editing your own code, let alone someone else's, it gets messy pretty quick. Now, kind of doubling down on the fact that I want to do this with IC10 code to keep the number of parts and the amount of space required to a minimum. And I have been lucky. I have been rewarded with finding something that does work. So let's go ahead and tear up some of this logic and go ahead and put in the new code and bask in the glory of having power that actually works a whole lot better. So, actually, we're going to do more than just tear up the logic. I have changed my mind just a little bit about exactly where I want the solar panels and the logic. I pretty much was just using this blank area up here on top of my building because it was there and it was a decent place to test. But in reality, it needs to be over here somewhere or over on top of the new expansion that's still being built. I stopped short on continuing that building over there because I knew I was going to need power, and I was going to need power pretty bad. So let's go ahead and tear some of this up and get things more back on track, shall we say, with where it's eventually going to live. It'll also solve, hopefully, the problem that I had with shorting the power in and power out from the area power controller, because I'm going to have the output essentially going into the head end of the batteries like it should in the first place, and then I'll find a way to get power from the far side of the battery back into the area power controller to keep it always alive. Now, obviously, even here on Mars, uh, we're going to have the sunrise and sunset in the east and the west. So we're basically looking at here and here. So the optimal orientation for our dishes should still be north to south, I believe. Um, I've always had a problem, but I've just overpowered it with brute force. That placing the solar panels too close to each other will cause them to obscure each other, but via brute force, it still works pretty darn well. So let's go ahead and get get this set up. I'm still toying with putting it over here on this side of the building. I could leave it where it's at, but either way, I still have to get the output power down to there. Now, these basic panels are going to go away. They're simply inefficient and poorly aimed for generating the amount of power that I actually need. These are actually a little bit damaged already from the last storm, so I might go ahead and take them down now while they're still intact. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that. It would probably help if I had a free hand for catching the materials. So we'll take that and let's see. Need hand drill to take these apart. Okay. And the advantage of going ahead and taking these apart now, you know, it's not like they were actually doing enough for me anyway, is it actually frees up an area where I can go ahead and plunk down the appropriate panels. And I've already got the cool little meter here for what's coming in. So, let's put this away. Let's clean up some of the we can put these basic solar panels more or less away for now. Let's go ahead and clean up some of this heavy cable because I'm not 100% certain where everything is going to be in the grand scheme of things. So let's combine that. Let's start with the daylight sensor. Is it a wrench? Probably not. How about the drill? Yep, drill it is. Okay, so let's move that. I'm not 100% sure of the orientation yet. So let's just deal with it the hard way. And yes, like I said before, I'm not ashamed. I'll put them right on top of these glass roof. It's not as aesthetically pleasing, but who knows? If I get bored enough, I can look up through my ceiling and see the solar panels moving around. I think it's a common theme amongst most of my videos. You know that I'm fairly easily amused, so watching them move around when I'm just waiting on something to finish smelting or something to finish being constructed, I'm okay with that. So we're going to try again with the Type 2 single connector solar panels for the dual axis. I may end up regretting that, but live and learn. Let's clean up that extra okay, that's just a T right there, so I can just take it out and put it back in as straight. And we can tie in there. And tie in there. I don't have a problem with a junction there because I'm going to put at least two more right here. So, very good. Let's go ahead and throw the glass back in because it's not doing me any good any other way. And the beauty of the situation, shall we say, I, okay. The beauty of the situation is going to be that the new code that I found doesn't need the batch writers at all. It actually writes directly to the satellite dishes, which makes me happy. It fulfills the desire I had for simplicity and absolute minimum space requirement for getting a system up and running. Okay, good. Now, let's again, we're sticking with the heavy coil because we're mixing data and power. These can put out 500 plus each. There's going to be at least 4. That is still within the capability of the regular cable, but this is in the same circuit with the solid generator, and it can put out 20,000 by itself. So that would be bad. Okay, power, data. Yeah, I didn't need that there. Okay. So, bring that around here. Bring that around here. Bring that around here. Okay, so now we're going to... Gee, didn't I just take a T out right here? Yep, that's efficiency for you. Okay, so take it out just to put it right back, but that's fine. Oh. Do I still have a problem? I keep forgetting that I'm mixing data and power on these. It should be okay. But I am going to have to... Which one of these connectors was power on this? I'm going to flip this around the opposite direction. Yeah. I'm going to flip this around the opposite direction so I can feed power to the... Hey, let's see. That's low. That's low. That'll work. Yeah, I'm going to flip that around so I can supply separate independent power to the circuit housing away from this. So I'll put a area power controller right here feeding this, and then I'll charge up the power controller from internal wiring inside the building. So let's... I can actually leave the wires. I just need to flip this around. There we go. And then we'll take out let's go ahead and grab the area power controller before I actually forget what I was about to do.
Air tank low.
Wow, I'm just out here paying no attention to my own health. Okay, so Flip this around so that power is going in. Go ahead and get this open. Grab the battery that I carelessly left out. And we can clean this up a little bit later. I'm going to have to go get air like really soon. Let's put the chip. Oh, no. We need to take the chip down to the laptop and get the new code. Okay. So I got to go inside anyway. So let's make sure I don't die. We'll pick up the basic solar panels. And we'll just stash them. They'll already be made and ready in case I need something to throw up in an emergency. They'll be good for a starter power in a dire emergency. Okay, so let's drop our chip in the laptop. Major shout out to Steam user, I believe it's 123. The items are listed on the workshop as F and S. I'm hoping they're near the very bottom here. I wish the workshop or the library items were actually sorted just a little bit. F and S solar panel tracking created by 123. It has a couple of options that I'm not taking advantage of, but it's better to have options that you're not taking advantage of and not need them. So we have imported that code. We'll export it to the chip, pick up the chip. Let's take care of our oxygen real quick.
Airtag critical.
Yeah, we know. Okay, food and everything else is still good for right now. Let's go back out here and get this chip installed. I still have to name a couple of things here. And I'm pretty sure that I need to assign D0 and maybe D1 for this particular script. I'll have to check on that real quick. Darn. Helps when you turn that on. Actually, apparently I don't need to set those. But I'm not sure whether the daylight sensor is currently set in the proper orientation. So that's still yet to be determined. Actually, I'm almost positive that it's in the wrong direction. We're pointed south. So, oh crap. Yep, just what you want. Be stuck on the roof in a storm and practically get blown away. So, I mean, you're actually reasonably safe in your suit itself, but you can get blown around and fall off of deep things or hit things hard, and you can crack your suit. And I'm not carrying duct tape with me right now, so I'd be pretty bad off. So I guess we're inside here for a few minutes. Might as well have a drink. Might as well have a bite to eat. How am I doing on cereal bars? I have about 6, 7 left. So I am definitely going to have to hustle on getting my food operations up and running, or you're going to watch a beautiful base become a ghost town. And yes, I just referred to it as beautiful. It's beautiful to me. It's ugly in every way possible, but it's beautiful in the fact that it basically works. any of you that happen to be OCD and easily triggerable, you must be sadists if you're still around by now. But I hope it's entertaining to some of the rest of you. I'm certainly having a good time sharing this game with you. Hopefully, some of you can learn a few things, and some of you may just find entertainment value in seeing how badly I do things sometimes. But I'm having fun. I'm sharing with you. Feel free to drop some comments in the video and tell me what you think. Tell me everything I've done wrong. You know, if you're actually meaning it, give me a compliment for doing something right. Every once in a while, I do something right. I promise. But what can I do to waste a little bit of time while I'm waiting for the storm to go away? Well, this actually had the ability to have a sensor to tell you when it's night and a dial to, I think, adjust the horizontal angle. But in my brief testing, it was actually working really good. I'm going to take a short away from keyboard break. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm sorry about that little interruption. Some real life events were interrupting. Nothing to worry about. So, looks like the storm is still going, which, by the way, is why I tried to keep the interruption as brief as possible and not just stop the video. I wanted the time to elapse for the storm. So I do apologize if you were just staring at the code that being used. I might, if I remember, edit that out. But in the meantime, storm is still going. Let's go ahead and make some more heavy cable. And go ahead and check some of the other batteries here. Yeah, that one could use a good charging. That's the one I stole the battery from. Yeah, that one's low too. So we got a couple of batteries charging over here. We have a storm going on out there. It's of course damaging those panels I just built, so I'll have to repair the solar panels with some glass or some duct tape or whatever. I tend to just go ahead and use the glass. It's actually really easy to make if you have silicone. So and I'm pretty sure that I need some more walls and some more steel sheets to take care of that other building, because I really do need to get some food production up and running, like probably 2 episodes ago. But that is part of how the game works. You ignore one problem long enough, it becomes a big problem. You ignore a small problem for even longer, you end up dead. I guess we'll just wait for the storm here for just a minute. Yeah, if this storm continues too much longer, I'm definitely going to have to edit out some of this. Oh, there we go. Finally. Like I said, I do apologize. If I don't edit out that brief period with you staring at the code and staring at the door while the storm was still going, I do apologize. My editing skills are absolutely horrible. I'm trying to get better. It would probably be good practice, but yeah, there's only a 50% chance that I'm going to edit that out. Actually, it might be 25% chance. 50% chance that I'll remember to do it, and 50% chance that I'm willing to do it after I remember. Like I said, I should, but right now I'm more concerned with not having a major failure like I did during episode 3 of accidentally turning on and off my recording and losing more than half of my footage. That was very discouraging. Okay, so we're going to just run this cable down the side of the wall. Come on. Nice thing about Stationeers is wire can go through straight sections of pipe. That's actually a really nice thing. And then we'll angle it in right here. Go back inside and plug this in. And then we should have power going to the area power controller, so that no matter what, the solar panels will know how to point towards the sun and start charging our system back up again. So, where did it drop? Where did it drop? Okay, not funny. Where did it drop? Great. That's hilarious. It landed underneath the junk that I had sitting here. The chutes that I wasn't using just yet. That's actually funny. Of all the places it could have come through the wall, it ends up underneath something. Okay, so we're going to come in here. Straight. We're going to cut out the regular cable. You can't create a junction between heavy and light cable. And eventually, a lot of this light cable is going to go away. So I have no problem with just going straight to having heavy cable when I lay down fresh. And I didn't hear any bangs, so hopefully that's good. But I don't think I have. Did I take? I need to take. I have glass with me. Go up and repair those solar panels from the storm damage. Hit the magic switch if it's not already on. Look at that. It's pointing right at the sun with, well, I can't really judge the efficiency because they're damaged. So let's fix that. I will be very happy when I have Sterilite, but I need the advanced furnace for that. Because once I have Sterilite, I can start using the heavy solar panels that don't get damaged in storms. Look at that efficiency. 98, 99, 98, 99. They're doing a beautiful job of tracking. I am very happy. However, now I'm going to add at least 2 more panels right here. Just tie them in. And I should have 2 kV, 2000 watts going in. And is this charging? It's already, there we go. It just turned blue, so it is properly charging. So I can close this. And that's it. The fast and simple code by 123 on Steam Workshop just requires a daylight sensor, IC housing, IC, power coming in, and 2-axis panels. That's awesome. Like I said, let's go get a couple more solar panels. And it really shouldn't warn you at 50%. I mean, I get it. In aircraft, you have something called bingo fuel, the point of no return. When you turn around, you just excuse me, you have just enough fuel to get back to your base. You know, typically you'll have a reserve or a military reserve above and beyond that little 50% area. But in peacetime, you know, typically when you hit just enough fuel to get back with a little bit of reserve, bingo, you turn around and go home or find somewhere safe to be. Somebody, I mean, I know that Rocket Works is not an American company, but military, somebody was in the military and was overzealously careful with 50% left of something is when you start warning somebody. It could be a little less zealous for my taste, but I understand. Okay, we need solar. Like I said, I'm sorry, it's not Sterilite. It's Astroloy. Astroloy is another one of the ones that you need the advanced furnace for. And they are expensive to build between the Electrum and the Astroloy. But the heavy solar panels are so worth it. Anyway, let's get these made. Where is it? Kit solar panel. I want 2 more, at least for now. I'm going to need a lot more than 4 solar panels, but it's what I want for right now. Then I have to really jump on that other building and start getting it pressurized and start getting heating and cooling for maintaining a temperature and get any form of food growing, no matter how automatic or manual it is. I got to get some food growing so I don't starve. I'm torn between cutting this episode as soon as I get these two panels. We're already at like 35 minutes, assuming I don't edit out those little interruptions. Life happens. You guys understand, right? Well, I'm also lazy when it comes to editing out, little segments like that. So hopefully you'll be forgiving of that too. But I'm kind of at a crossroads for whether or not I want to maybe put a chapter in around the 35-40 minute mark, or whether I want to start a different video for working on the grow room. I don't know. Let's see, I have glass with me, so I should be able to just pop these up there. Change it to type 2. Get the port to the back. Put the glass in. And put the glass away. Get out the wire cutters. Come on. Now these two should spring to life and match those two just as soon as I connect that. And sure enough, they do. See, that's the beauty of having the same type of solar panels and a nice, simple, but effective control system. As long as the network isn't isolated by transformers or anything else, I could put a solar panel over there. As long as it's connected to the same data network, power network, it would track just fine. Now, with the way they did the deep miner, having different areas of what they'll get, I'll probably set up something just exactly like this. 3 or 4 solar panels, a station battery, a deep miner, and a centrifuge in different locations out there to gather more specific resources. And then I'll figure out how the heck I'm going to move resources from one place to another. But that's my working solar. Let's take just a moment to celebrate here. And by celebrate, go look at what work I have to do. Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13 walls that I need to put in, and that means 13 iron sheets. At the very minimum, I'm going to go ahead and do that in case I decide to cut this video off at that point, but I'm going to do that much right now. Okay, so we can put wire cutters back where they belong. I don't specifically need the frames right this very second. I will again soon, however. Okay, I got 25 walls. That's awesome. I really don't need this regular cable. So iron sheets, I need another 15 or so. This electronics, okay, this is the auto lathe, good. I need iron sheets. How are we doing on iron? We're doing good. So we can go ahead and close this down. Not that I'm really worried about any battery or anything like that. We can go ahead and put battery back in this, back in this. $24 sounds great, especially since I already had 8. 32. They won't go to waste. Let's get another heavy battery. No, I'm sorry, large battery. Yep, I can afford 1 or 2 of those. Get those popped over here. See, I can start enjoying having a more regular power source now that I have 4 good working solar panels. And I really despise using the small batteries for anything, even the tools. I mean, maybe the labeler, but you're right in the middle of something, and all of a sudden, you get your tool die, or the incessant warnings that you get the incessant warnings that your battery is low, and you have to start stealing from your tools just to stay alive. I mean, the bare minimum for me is the large battery. In certain circumstances, I'll use the wireless transmitter and the wireless batteries. And in certain circumstances, or rather almost any circumstance I can get away with, I like using the nuclear batteries. But that's more mid to late game, and we're kind of barely surviving right now. So we'll just muddle on with the mixture of large and small. Let's go ahead and head over there and tie up that building. I'm going to need 2 doors, some pipe. I'm going to need a couple more walls too, I guess. Get this closed in. It's going to be dark in here until I get some lights and some grow lights and so forth in here, but that's kind of the point. This is a controlled environment room. Yeah, it's probably a good thing I have extra steel sheets, because this needs to be airtight. Which means I actually don't have enough steel sheets. Oh, okay. This is called "You Just Ran Out of Fuel for the Welder." Now, this is fortunately one of the advantages of having started on easy. Because I'm on easy, the lander had a fuel tank. So all I got to do is pop the canister out, refill it the same way I was doing the oxygen, and I'm back in business. But if this weren't easy, and I didn't have this pre-mixed fuel, then I'd be in trouble. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab a couple more steel sheets while we're right here. I didn't count how many I'd already done, but that's a fairly decent sized building. It's technically a little bit larger than I should have for the first actual controlled building, but just because I know better doesn't mean I'm going to do better. Good thing my suit has air conditioning. You see how hot it's getting in here? Okay. Awesome. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, now we need... Always turn off your welder. I accidentally turned it on there for a second. Okay, we need a wall here. We need a wall here. We need a wall here. And we need to go ahead and seal that up. Whoops. I don't need the welder for that. I just need the steel sheets. But I do need the welder for this. Okay. Awesome. So we'll put a airlock in here, and then I can start pressurizing this. I can start installing the heating and cooling to keep it within a certain temperature range. Put down hydroponics, probably water tank. I usually put it back here in the corner. Water tank, hydroponics, heating, cooling, grow lights. But first things first, we need to get the airlock in. Yep, so that's 2 doors, an active and a passive vent. Glass, plastic, all kinds of things. Okay, so we need 2 doors. Kit door, kit door, kit door, kit door. There we go. We need 2 of those.
Power critical.
Okay, fine. There we go. Okay, where was I? We need sensors. Okay. Okay, 2 doors, sensor, active vent. Okay, I gotta move some iron and copper over to here. There's some copper. Do I have any more iron just laying around? Of all the things to not have laying around. Oh, wait a minute. I do. I got lucky. That's the tool manufacturing. Okay. I need an active vent. I need a passive vent. Okay, and I've already got some pipe over here, so that's good. Let's go ahead and take some of the parts over. Because, as always, my inventory is full. There's an inside joke for you if you watch the Kanga video that I did. Looks like an excellent game. I'm procrastinating just a little bit on doing the part 2 of that because I'm still dealing with exactly how I can or can't reconfigure the controls to make the ship flyable. And I wasn't prepared for the aggravation right now. Okay, I need the plastic immediately, so wonderful. Okay, plastic. Take the plastic. I still don't have any real inventory space here. But we'll go ahead and take the active vent with us on this trip. Okay, so let's get out the welder. Oh, it requires the wrench, not the welder. Okay, fine. That was to deconstruct. Boy, I didn't read that very well, did I? Okay. Oh, I didn't put the plastic in my hand. I still had the steel sheets. I mean, the iron sheets. Okay, glass and crowbar. Force those open for now. And we'll swap out the gas sensor for the glass. Glass sensor is going to be right here. Gas sensor right here in the middle. I tend to like the panel right there, so we'll aim it that way. Okay, so I need a console. I need a console, airlock control board, another piece of glass. Okay, I need a console. I need an airlock. Circuit board. Okay. Come on. We're low on heavy cable again. See how fast you go through that stuff? Okay, let's go ahead and grab the passive vent. We'll grab the pipe. We'll wait for just a little bit of this heavy cable to come up. Definitely don't have to do the airlock and heavy cable, but now that I have a good source of gold, I'm just going to be using heavy cable. Caution. Okay. Since I had some trouble with my original video when I first built the starter area, you didn't get to watch me build the airlock. So, I'm going to start with the console. Want the disc slot on the left, so that means the wiring goes down. We're going to put the airlock board in, and top it off with some glass. Now we're going to wire a few things up. Okay, probably best if I go from that side. Right? Yeah. Come on, link up. There we go. And that'll be my power feed for this building, is going to be through the door. I should set up an area power controller so that the door is always capable of being used, but I'll probably do that as a retrofit because I'm in a hurry to get hydroponics up and running. Okay. Active vent should be next. Put it right here. And then we'll put the passive vent right here. Now we'll get out our pipe and our wrench. With a little bit of extra room here, it gets a little bit neater than having it all totally cramped together. Let's see, I still got to wire power to the advance, or to the to the active vent here. Come on. There we go. Okay, now I need to get power from there over to here. Yep, lots more heavy cable. Honestly, I should have just let that thing go hog wild and just make a mess in here. And we're drained. And that's why you have an area power controller to keep your doors active. Otherwise, you wouldn't get back in. So, let's go turn on. Oh, there's no coal in there. Do I still have some coal on the shelf? Coal anywhere? Uh-oh. I mean, the solar will save me in the long run. But right now, ooh. Now my doors are no longer functional. That's not especially good. That's lead. Copper, gold. I could have swore I still had at least one coal sitting around. Darn it. I could have sworn I had an APC set up on this door. So, I can either wait until morning and let the solar power things back up, or I can temporarily disable my airlock and then use the crowbars to open the doors. Close that one, open that one. Switch over to mining. Okay, tracker's still working on the lander. That's why it's nice that it's still there. And now we go try to find just a teensy tiny bit of coal real quick. If you watched any of my previous episodes, you heard me saying it's always around when you don't need it. And boy, oh boy, do I need it right now. And I can already hear a couple of you. Why aren't you using the ore scanner? Because I already took it out of my inventory and put it on the shelf. That's cobalt. Don't need the Smurf rock right now. might be coal down there. Yep, it is. I'd really like to have more than just 8. I'd kind of like a whole stack of 50. Not overjoyed with only 24, but it's better than 8. See how the solar's already gotten things powered back on? That's still in the red. That blinking light on the centrifuge means it's full, by the way. Okay. Yep, we're still definitely going to use some coal. Why did I jump down? Okay, that'll give that a nice healthy little charge. And you know what? While I still have the mining backpack on, it's the easy way to empty this. Ooh, almost 300 gold and about 150, 267 and 133 silver. So that's a pretty good haul for them at Little Deep Miner. Huh. My mining backpack is full already. It's a good thing I already had pretty much everything I needed. So it's now empty. Close it back up, it'll spin back up and give me more. That investment finally paid off. Okay, so we need to switch back to the regular tool belt. Get out. And we can turn back on our airlock. See, if you try and use the crowbar, it'll say that they're locked. But if you disconnect the brain, they turn back dumb again.
Power low.
Okay. Okay, so let's dump out that. We should be done with the pipe right now too. Shoot, what's next? Portable, 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 portable. Locker, table, microwave, eggs, builder. We'll take that with us. Portable air conditioning, battery cell, canister. Yeah. Okay, so we need that's the pipe bender. We need a water tank. Tank liquid. And we need steel. Because of course we do. Okay, we need a liquid tank. We need liquid pipe. We need an ice crusher. Even more heavy cable. Okay, we need the ice crusher. I'm probably going to go with the electric heater and the gas style electric coolers for now. I could possibly get away with using like the portable air conditioner set for like 25. Okay, ice crusher. Do I have any liquid pipe left? Liquid pipe. It's utility. Let's see. Pipe. Liquid pipe, liquid pipe. I could use the insulated, but there we go. Liquid pipe. Seven to 10 of these for now. I'll need more for connecting up the actual hydroponics themselves. Okay. Let's see. I could have swore that at least one hydroponics tray came with the Grow lights are going to be back over here on electronics. I think I finally ran out of gold. Good thing I have a whole bunch now. Okay, at the very least, I'm going to take some of this stuff over there. This video is getting just a teensy tiny bit long. So I'm probably going to just drop stuff off in here. Might go ahead and connect power over here. I'm probably not going to have enough cable, am I? I'm going to come up like maybe one short or maybe one plus. Okay. Come on. And we're not lit up. Am I not connected on this end? No, I'm not connected on this end. Okay, so I still came up short. By one. And I ran out of gold. Okay, well, I'm going to have to smelt a whole bunch of gold, make a whole bunch more cable, get things actually plugged in. I don't have the console wired in yet either, looks like. But a little bit more to finish here on the airlock. Get the power connected from the main building to the grow room. Start pressurizing. But we're at right around an hour and 20 minutes. So hopefully more of you stayed longer than 5 minutes this time. I do apologize. But we actually made some progress today. And I'll see you in the next one. So until then, be safe.